The Morning Drive is sponsored by Power Metallic. To find out more about the company, please visit their website at powermetallic.com. Follow the Money Investor Group is a 100% Indigenous-owned company and certified with the Canadian Council for Aboriginal Business.
Chad Peters, CEO of Ridgeline Minerals.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining me on this gorgeous day in New Orleans at the investment conference here.
Yeah.
First morning drive with you.
Yeah, this is the first, isn't it? Yeah.
Our audience doesn't really know too much about you. I don't know much about your background.
Okay.
So why don't we start there? Like, where are you from?
I grew up in near Brandon, Manitoba, like a small farm town that no one would know the name of, but grew up on a farm, the typical kind of Canadian, hockey and baseball in the summer, and really got into the outdoors. And my uncle worked for Chevron as a efficiencies expert on drilling rigs out in Iraq and all over the Middle East. And
Oh, yeah.
every time he'd come home for Christmas, he'd say, "Oh, you should be a geologist. These guys are all making tons of money," and all that kind of stuff.
Travel.
Yeah, get to travel the world. Little did I know that oil field geology was incredibly boring, and got into my degree and did not want to do it, and got into mining instead. So, yeah, that's how I ended up getting into mining, I guess.
Any siblings?
Yeah, two brothers. They're both started out their careers in farming and still live back home in the Brandon area.
Are they older?
No, I'm the oldest. Actually, I'm the oldest
Okay.
and the smallest. They're both big boys. So, yeah.
It might not have worked out because of the age, but did you guys play sports together?
Yeah, actually, we were pretty close, to be honest. My middle brother and I were almost Irish twins, so we were always, every other year, we were on the same hockey team, and it was a lot of fun. Started bringing him to parties when he was in high school and all that kind of stuff.
Him.
Yeah, the typical older brother stuff.
So who did the best with the ladies?
Oh, definitely not me. That's for sure. The middle brother had far more game than I did, so.
And did you kind of like beat them up a little bit when they were younger? Or?
Tried to, till they got to about 14, 15, and then that got a little bit harder. They started both ganging up on me, so I got a lot more respectful right around when they got that age.
All right, you got humbled.
Yep.
Would you say you're a competitive guy?
Yeah, definitely. I think it started in sports and just continued into mining now, I guess. So, yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's a common theme with executives. I like to ask that question.
I think if you're not competitive in this space, you're not going to do very well.
That's right.
It's a pretty tough space to be in. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, are you married or?
Yeah, I have a wife, Carla. She's amazing. 2 kids. Actually, Carla moved down with me to Nevada 14 years ago for a 6-month contract when I was working for Premier Gold Mines, which was, is now I-80 Gold, but
Yeah.
started out as that. And yeah, we came down on a 6-month contract and never left. So yeah, we have 2 boys that are dual citizens, Jack and Cole, and yeah, we love living in Reno now. So we've been here for 14 years.
So, are you a Las Vegas hockey fan?
Never, no.
No?
Edmonton Oilers all day
Okay,
long.
okay,
Yeah.
just checking.
Yeah.
You guys I think you got Marner now, so.
Yeah, I mean, my boys both love the Vegas Golden Knights, but they're just bandwagon jumpers. So
Right.
I guess I'll let them have it because they're 11 and 9. So
Yeah, it makes sense.
yeah.
Okay, your professional career,
Yep.
outside of university, like how did you maybe bring me to the beginning of your getting into mining?
Well, like I mentioned originally, what got me into the being a geologist was my uncle kind of tricked me into it, I guess you could say. But then I got into it, really started enjoying it. Got into my career started in Red Lake, Ontario. So pretty great spot to start off. Got a lot of great experience, and working for Ewan Downey and the Premier Gold Mines team was pretty exciting at the time. Right, we were in a pretty good market. Money was flowing into the junior space, and we found about, I think, around 12 or 15 million ounces combined across multiple discoveries in Canada and the US over kind of like a 10-year period. So that really definitely jump-started. I was just a fly on the wall starting and kind of just worked my way up over the years and ended up as US exploration manager for the company. And you kind of really start to see what kind of, the wealth that you can build, right? Just
Yeah.
True what true discovery can really bring. And so Premier started transitioning in about 2015, 2016 over to really saying, okay, we found all this gold, now we want to produce it. And we want to become a producer, and we all know how the Lassonde curve works. That didn't go as planned. So we went from an 800 million market cap company to like 100 million market cap. And so, yeah, well, I mean, it was a good learning experience. I did all the economic studies for all of our U.S. projects, was part of getting the South Arturo mine into production with our partners at Gold Corp at the time. So learned a whole lot, but also realized I didn't really want to be in the production space for my own, startup. So what I found at Ridgeline, the idea is let's focus on historic districts in Nevada that maybe have just not been given a fair shake. And the interesting thing, I think, which kind of helped me was when I was coming from like a Red Lake narrow vein background, Archean gold mines, to going down to Nevada, which was a completely different deposit style. It just forced you to kind of, for me, I didn't have any of the bias that kind of applies to a lot of, anytime you get into a historic mining district, there's all that, well, you don't find gold here. And just think of like Great Bear, right?
Sure.
So I think it created this opportunity where coming in and just taking a fresh look at very classic, districts in Nevada, but saying, well, what if maybe gold is in this rock unit, or maybe there's a different geologic model we can apply, and we've had some success doing that. So we've been able to acquire some very, very key ground land positions directly adjacent to some of the biggest mines in North America, gold mines in North America, that are owned by Nevada Gold Mines, which is a Barrick and Newmont joint venture. And yeah, so we've been able to actually acquire these key chunks of ground, bring in back Nevada Gold Mines as partners on 2 of the projects, and they're now spending a combined $40 million US across 2 projects, and the Swift project in particular is turning into I think going to be the next big gold discovery in Nevada. So, which is really exciting, and Ridgeline would be a 25% fully carried minority partner all the way to commercial production on both of those deals. So it's they're well-structured deals. They really highlight, I think, what you're really going for in Nevada, right? Which is trying to make tier 1 discoveries. And so yeah, we're pretty excited about that. And then today we actually announced a new discovery at our Selena project, which is a joint venture with South 32. That's some core that I brought along, some nice shiny core.
Hopefully we'll be in the core shack at PDAC.
That's the plan. And so we just announced pretty much what we had always proposed with our Selena project. It's a carbonate replacement deposit, and just to keep it really high level, it's typically silver, lead, zinc. Some of the biggest CRDs in the world are in Mexico and the western U.S. And so South 32 owns the Taylor deposit, which they purchased from Arizona Mining for about $2 billion in 2018. That's now going into production. And they partnered with us last year because we felt that, okay, our Selena project was a direct analog to their Taylor deposit. We said, hey guys, this is same type of rocks, same deposit style, same scale, and similar grade. Come and help us explore this. And so in our maiden drill program, we just announced today a massive sulphide discovery, which is the first of its kind at our project. It's high grade, up to 27% zinc, up to 400 grams silver. I mean, it's incredibly exciting. So so between our 3 partnerships, we saw $11 million being spent this year, US. Across.
You didn't have to dilute.
We only spent $1.5 million out of that $11 million. So just incredible torque on every dollar that we put in the ground.
Yeah. A lot of leverage.
Yep.
Per dollar.
Yep.
How did you start this company? Where were you when you started this company?
I think I didn't know enough about what I didn't know when I started Ridgeline. So to know better, but I started Ridgeline out of my garage in Winnemucca, Nevada. So I went to Ewan, who I'd worked with for a decade, that was kind of a mentor, and said, look, I want to start a new company. I want to focus on early stage exploration. And he was initially hesitant because obviously I would have to leave the company to do so. But he ended up being my first investor. And
nice.
So it took about 15 months to get up and off the ground, which was a heck of a lot longer than I had ever thought it would take to get the projects into the company and get a seed round complete. And I got to give my wife Carla a lot of credit because I think about 8 months in, I was offered a pretty shark kind of deal from Waterton actually to come in and kind of be like a management. They're pretty much bring in Ridgeline and fold it into to that company and kind of become like an exploration arm for Waterton, and she just put her foot down and was like, absolutely not, this isn't what we want, this isn't what you want to do.
Honey, I've seen you go from an 8-bagger down to...
Yeah, and so she supported the family for, I didn't have a salary for about 15 months, but got it up and going.
Cool.
Got the right shareholders in, which I think was the key piece that I was missing originally, right? Is, you
people
can't,
that understand the business are long.
you can't rub shoulders with a group like Waterton and expect it to work out well, right? So, we brought in the right shareholders, did a seed round in 2019, went public in 2020 on the TSX-V, and actually we're trading it, as far as on a market cap basis, we're actually trading at all-time highs right now, which is exciting. So it's been a bit of a grind, 5 years to get to there, but we've got great partners and new discoveries, and it's going to be exciting.
What's the market cap right now?
About 45 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just going back, because I'm interested, like when you were at the opposite end of the Lausanne curve,
Yep.
like on a personal basis, were you able to, like, you probably left a lot of money on the table?
Yeah,
like with
definitely.
options and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Right, it's a tough learning curve, right?
It is, yeah. I think that was a big thing. Like at one point when I was probably 23, 24, I remember my options being worth like close to $700,000 or $800,000, right? Like at 23 years old, just out of university, that was like, and then of course I read an analyst report, which at the time I thought actually mattered, right?
So it pumped you up.
It was like gospel.
Yeah, you got gassed up.
Yeah, and they were like, no, Ridgeline's Premier's a buy. It's going to $12.
They didn't put the Lausanne curve in the...
We were trading at like 8 at the time, right? I'm like, well, gosh, if we're going to $12, why would I sell, right?
Yeah.
I think I ended up liquidating all my stock at about $3.50 or something like that at the end.
What was the high?
Almost $8. Yeah. So pretty tight. I mean, back 15 years ago, right? Your share structures were a little tighter back then, and so yeah, that was a good learning experience, and that's something I certainly tell all my young geos too, right? It's like, hey guys, if you're up, and you can pay your mortgage off. Pay, take some money off the table.
Yeah. Well said. What's your current cap structure like?
Yeah, so we have 139 million shares out. We have an additional 13 million warrants, about evenly split between 18 and 25 cents. So those were both financings that we had to do, half warrants that we had to give out during this bear market, right? That were,
to incentivize.
Yeah, it was a tough time for sure. And I think we went into about 2021, we only had 60 million shares out. But we kind of had to make a decision, right? Like our business model is very much like a hybrid prospect generator in that we explore our own projects, we have these big deals with the partners. So it is a more dilutive business model, let's say, than a pure prospect generator, but it is less dilutive than if you're just a classic pure exploration company, right? So, in our eyes, especially like a really good thing that I learned from you, and actually back in the day was, when the markets are bad, when companies can't keep their doors open and projects are going south, that's when you acquire great assets, right? And so we actually decided, you know what, we're going to double down. We're going to keep raising money. We're going to keep acquiring projects and moving these things forward so that when we come out of this market, we're in a stronger position, right? And
so the catch there, 22, was like, okay, you're acquiring, you're diluting.
Yep.
But you're getting good projects at a discount.
Exactly.
So that's
it allowed us to be really aggressive in Nevada. I think we got some incredible assets, which I think is reflected in the deals that we have with our different partners. And we have 155 million shares fully out, including everything, RSUs, options, you name it. I personally own 3.5% of the company. Management owns about 7.5%. Some of the key shareholders highlight, guys like Paul Stevens, Rick Rule, Merck Investments, which is owned by ASA Gold Fund. They are our largest shareholder at about 9.9%. You have and then a good mix of institutions, funds, high net worth guys, folks like Matt Geiger, Extract Capital. Those are all really core shareholders of ours that we really value. So, we value all our shareholders, but obviously, but these are the guys that have stuck with us since when we were a private company. So.
Well, let's see what happens today in the market. Gold, can talk some macros for a minute. Gold, has had an epic run, absolutely epic run, and pulled back. Healthy correction.
Yep.
I know a bunch of investors, newer investors that wanted to get into into gold equities that didn't want to buy at all-time highs.
Right.
Can't blame them.
Yep.
So you know, as the saying goes, and it is true now, I think depending on if you're a junior or a developer, a lot of these companies have gone back 25%.
Yep.
So, and then they bumped up a little bit, but the gold, my point here is the gold price is kind of really holding around that 4,000 mark.
Which is still a great gold price.
It's a great gold
right?
price, and it's a very psychological number.
Yep.
So things look good on that side. Where would you say the blue sky potential is now for you know, for my audience, my community,
Yep.
that is just now learning about your story?
Well, the interesting thing is, you know, we've had a really good run the last, call it like 3 months, right? We're almost close to 90% up. We just announced this new discovery. But I think it's really important to point out, if you look at you know, stories like you know, like Group 11, for example, they got a really interesting, Bart, the CEO, I was chatting with him yesterday. You know, I really like what they're doing in Ireland there with their silver lead zinc discovery. That's like a $90 million market cap company. You look at like different groups like Prospective Metals, or some of these groups that are drilling polymetallic intercepts like we just announced. They're all trading in an 80 to 90 million market cap range. We're trading at 45. So even now, we're still very much, I think, an undervalued story with everything that we have going on.
Power metallic, maybe a comparable? Or?
Oh, well, that one's really advanced, and just an incredible deposit. So I'm not going to, you know, I wouldn't say, hey, we're that next one. Yeah, it might be a little of a stretch, but where could it go? You know, we think, for example, our Selena discovery, we have very excited partners in South 32. We're only into our second hole of a $20 million deal, right?
Yeah.
So they have to spend another like $15-16 million here over the next 3-4 years just to earn into their ownership stake in the project, which means they're going to be drilling like crazy. They're excited. If we find another, even half of the Taylor deposit, right, that's $1 billion story, and we're a 20% free carry on that. So the upside for us as a company, I think we're really diversified across multiple projects. We have a couple really key discoveries coming together. We're both at Selena and our gold project at Swift. So you're getting exposure to both silver, lead, zinc at Selena and copper. And then you're getting a pure gold play at our Swift play. So I think that the upside for us is still heck of a lot higher than a 45 million market cap. And for those that are just getting in now, I mean, it's a great time, right? All that last 4 or 5 years of grinding it out, tough work, some, you know, disappointing assay results, frankly, at various projects over the years. It happens, right? Exploration's tough. You get to avoid all that, right? And now just get in right when things are starting to get exciting. And I still think a very reasonable market cap. So,
I mean, a couple things. Obviously, maybe touch on how your company's being vetted by majors.
Right. Well, and you know, I actually really, Rick Rule once said, he goes, you know, I don't have to do any due diligence on you. You already have the majors. You know, the majors have already done that. Newmont, Barrick, South 32, some of the biggest companies in the world in their respective commodities have already come in and said, hey, technically this company is very strong, right? The projects are strong, and we want to be a part of it. So, you know, when we have these majors come in, it's a long process. Like I think it's as much relationships as anything, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I think you've done a great job. You know, as a quick overview of the company, and we got to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
Since you're at the conference, have you been able to listen to any of the guest speakers? You're probably in the booth.
I'm man in the booth for the most part. I'm trying to sneak in and out for a few of the, you know, the key ones that I'd love to see, but yeah, I'm gonna miss the majority of it sitting in that booth, I think.
That'll be the thumbnail.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Ridgeline Minerals, Chad Peters. Please go in the description of the video. We'll have the X-Space link and the date that you can set into your calendar. We'll dig in a little bit more, if possible. If we can get a few other people from your team on that can, you know, maybe explain more of the projects. We'll get it out to your shareholder and kind of get an interactive event going on.
That'd be great.
But thank you very much, and I'll drop you off here so you can get back to the booth and speak to more investors.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Take care.